Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I am so excited that we finally get to do the Drew Barrymore Show because if there was an awards for PR misfires, Meghan Markle's appearance on the Drew Barrymore Show would have taken top honors. Today, we're diving into the contradictions, confusing statements, and meticulously crafted awkwardness, because in this interview, Meghan manages to undermine her own carefully constructed image, offering us a fascinating case study on how not to handle public relations in your business. So buckle up as we unpack each stumble, dissecting exactly where and why Meghan missed the mark. Let's get started. Hello everyone, I'm Star Chairs, and in this channel, we analyze public figures and videos through the lens of PR. So let me go ahead and make myself smaller because we're going to look at this scene by scene with the start of it first.
She is one of the most known people on the planet. You may know her as the Duchess of Sussex. There are people who she is Meghan to. She's mom, wife, all these things. And I'm so excited to speak to her about all those things.
So Drew Barrymore kicks off the introduction by labeling Meghan Markle as one of the most known people on the planet. A phrase so grandiose it borders on satire. She swiftly follows up by referring to Meghan as Duchess of Sussex, reinforcing Meghan's high-profile royal identity before pivoting awkwardly to more relatable image as a wife, a mom, and all these things. Drew's invisible fumbling at the end, I'm so excited for her to speak to her, adds an unintentional, authentic moment to what otherwise feels like a carefully rehearsed celebrity intro script. All right, so after this, she comes in. Let me go ahead. Oof, where is it? Right there. She comes in, she's waving, she's so excited. Let me see if I can play this. Go. As Meghan enters, she's enthusiastically waving right here, right? Oh, there it is finally. She's enthusiastically waving, showcasing the classic celebrity level of charisma that just feels, I don't know, slightly overplayed, in my opinion. She immediately engages in a long, affectionate hug with Drew, clearly a planned gesture aimed at emphasizing warmth, authenticity, and relatability. But the standout moment here, of course, is going to be the staged one. Let me see. Whether it was staged or not, it was most definitely, in my opinion, staged in Meghan's head. She's like, I'm going to do this. Where is it? Right there. With the boopy. It's Meghan's deliberate pause to squat down and get eye to eye, nose to nose with Drew's dog. This moment to me just screamed PR gold as intentional, calculated effort to demonstrate Meghan's soft, approachable side, capitalizing on the universal lovable image of a dog person. So this is pretty much Meghan trying to soften her image, which is somewhat divisive, you know? The problem, however, is precisely how carefully choreographed this feels. Rather than achieving a genuine relatability, it was just too much. It was overly polished interaction, reinforcing the skepticism among viewers because she goes straight and does the nose to nose. I'm like, what? Okay, call me cynical, but I just don't believe it. She knows that doing this with the dog is going to give her brownie points in many people's eyes. So the next moment that we have is they sit on the couch. Oh yeah, they sit on the couch. This one.
They're just bookended and flanked. Oh, I love it. It's just surrounded by love. So
did you guys catch it? Did you guys catch it? She's like, I'm surrounded by love. And she immediately looks at the audience like waiting for praise or love or something like that, you know? Rewinded it for you guys right there so you can see it.
It's just surrounded by love.
All right, so I had to pause it there because she immediately, and they cut it, she immediately looks to the audience for validation and praise, and they cut it because the audience, there was nothing. Like crickets. Nobody applauded her. Nobody gave her praise, but she was looking for it. Drew immediately caught on because she has professional awareness, instantly picking up on this awkwardness and swiftly moves the conversation forward and effectively preventing further embarrassment. So we're going to move forward to the next one because she just acts really nervous here.
Okay, I'm so excited. Thank you for having me. Thank you for coming here.
Did you see that? Like she even like does the excessive blinking.
Thank you for coming here.
Right there. Anyways, that just for me signifies that she's nervous. And that's something that we've seen with Meghan, that she's usually not very good when it comes to impromptu interviews or anything like that, even though all of this is a softball interview. Okay, let's see if we can do this one.
I'm such a warm person and I love affection. How do you feel about that? I just think it's really important. We've missed human connection, certainly after the pandemic and everything else. We crave that. We crave being able to go, hi, like, we've read and here, and to really be able to hold and touch and embrace someone. And so I think about what hospitality.
All right, so I wanted to put this part of the scene when Drew serves Meghan Markle an incredibly simple and relatable question, essentially asking, are you a hugger like me? It's such a softball question, right? It's kind of like straightforward opportunity that any PR-savvy public figure would dream of. Yet Meghan's response veers immediately to a vague, excessively elaborate monologue that could only be described as the classic Meghan word salad. Instead of being genuine and direct or even answer humorously, she just resorts to a broad statement about the pandemic and our universal desire for human connection, and adding the word craving multiple times as the repetition will somehow clarify her point. No, Meghan, stop talking. Start being a little bit more direct. Or she just does not want to give out a straight answer. So she goes off on this word salad adventure that she doesn't know where she's going to land. And she's just like, I think that landed, right? It's like, no, Meghan, that didn't land. No, it never lands. And it never lands because this response right here that we just saw just feels overly scripted, unnecessarily complicated, missing a golden opportunity to display genuine authenticity and relatability. Meghan's overly cautious language suggests she's uncomfortable or overly rehearsed, attempting to fill airtime without revealing anything truly personal or vulnerable. Ironically, the very act of attempting to appear profound and relatable has the opposite effect. It distances her from the audience and further fuels criticism of inauthenticity. In short, what I'm trying to say is that Meghan's word salad is an example of over-preparation, excessive control of one's image that can lead to completely disconnecting from reality. All right, we'll go to the next clip where we left off because this one is also just so hypocritical. Watch.
And so I think about with the show, certainly what hospitality has felt like for me is how do you make people feel comfortable? How do you show up for them in spaces where they might feel like, I don't know, this is really where I should be. Yes, you belong here and let's all have fun with it and not take it too seriously. But
so here on this statement of hospitality comes off almost as picture perfect, right? Or at least it would be if reality didn't keep getting in her way. She beautifully describes the importance of making people feel welcome, comfortable, and included, declaring you belong here and let's all have fun with it. Yet, this heartwarming message clashes terribly with her public allegations of bullying and well-documented struggles to maintain smooth, harmonious relationships behind closed doors. This is a glaring contradiction that is almost comedic. It's as if Meghan forgot that everything starts at home, or the very least with your family first. Once again, saying one thing while reports indicate something entirely different backstage undermines the credibility of her carefully managed image. All right, I'm down here now because I wanted to show you this next clip. Oh, there it is. Okay, let's play it.
Was, I think for me, really fun about doing the series is I could have some of my older friends, friendships that I've had since middle school even, that are still in my life. And I think at the end of the day, you just really want to be able to show up with those people and equally meet people exactly where you are today. Yeah. So Mindy's a great example of that, or some of the other guests that...
Okay, we're going to stop it right there because Meghan enthusiastically discusses her show and mentions her friends from middle school. She attempts to portray herself as someone capable of maintaining deep, lifelong friendship. Yet, Notably, not a single one of these alleged long-term friends appeared on the show. I mean, we analyzed it, we watched it together. None of them were put as middle school friend. None of them. So is it our fault that we don't know which one it is because they didn't label her as such? Or is it maybe that none of them were longtime middle school friends? And I think it's the latter. So this strategic move seems directly aimed at silencing the ongoing whispers that Meghan swiftly disposes of friendships that no longer serve her interest. Nice try, Meghan. Nice try. I had to stop the video where I did because further complicating her narrative, Meghan is mentioning Mindy Kaling as someone she meets equally where you are today, suggesting a peer-like equivalence in their achievements. Let's pause and appreciate the sheer audacity here that Meghan believes and is aligning herself professionally with Mindy Kaling, who has established herself as a successful, prolific writer, actress, comedy creator. Meghan's accomplishments aren't exactly in the same league as Mindy Kaling. So from my perspective, this unearned equivalence isn't just overly ambitious. It highlights exactly how Meghan struggles to seem inauthentic and how she believes she sees herself. She believes she's in Mindy Kaling's level. Like, that's crazy. She's trying so hard to be relatable and accomplished simultaneously that she ends up achieving neither. Okay, so that's my rant on that. Because when I saw that and I did not hear anybody say that, I'm like, she's literally putting herself on Mindy Kaling's level. I'm like, do you guys not see it? Am I the only one? Let me play that again because that's the way it sounds to me. Watch.
Meet people exactly where you are today. Yeah. So Mindy's a great example of that. And equally, meet people exactly where you are today. Yeah. So Mindy's a great example of that.
Do you see that? Mindy's a great example of that. That she's on her level. Like, no, you guys are like apples and oranges, apples and grapes. Like, no, I'm sorry, but no. All right. So then she continues to say that she's hoping it translates, but watch, because it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I'm like trying to take notes here and I'm like, what are you speaking about, Meghan? Be more specific about things. Watch.
And you're in the kitchen playing and making mistakes and having fun together. I think that's what I'm hoping translates.
So she says that they're in the kitchen playing. I'm like, playing? You're supposed to be working, not playing. But okay. So the way Meghan kind of words this, it's again super confusing. It's kind of vague. And the worst part about it is that she says, I'm hoping this translates. I'm like, translates? Apparently Meghan herself isn't entirely sure if she's conveying the message she wants to convey in her show. This appears to be yet another attempt to vaguely acknowledge criticism without genuinely addressing it. She just speaks in code where she is trying to tell you something, but you have to decode it because it's not going to come out directly from her mouth. It's going to come out in code. So she's like, I hope it translates. If it doesn't, well, it's your fault. It's your fault you didn't understand it. It's your fault that you don't like it. It's not my fault. It's not my fault because I hope it translates well. Like, what? No, it's definitely your fault because you're supposed to be the one that gives us all the information about your show, and we feel the way you feel about the show. Okay, so this next part, I was really thinking about skipping it, but I'm like, okay, let's leave it in there because it's just so dumb.
Sense of you guys on a very beautiful, intimate note. Every time I ever know anyone who knows you guys, talk about how hot, and this is the key word, everyone and their different people shoot on you, but they go, they're so hot for each other.
So this is the reason why I didn't want to do this part, because it's kind of cringy. Drew carefully highlights some affectionate photos of Meghan and Harry, calling them so hot for each other, prompting Meghan to go into a predictable fit of bashful giggling. I'm like, what? No, and she really did not respond to it. She was just giggling. So from my point of view, this just feels like Meghan has meticulously been coached, or she coached herself, to this reaction to combat the endless divorce rumors. But instead of soothing doubts, this overly staged interaction raises more eyebrows than it lowers them. It just leaves me with more question than it does answers. Meghan's description of Harry, that's the part I want to get into right here.
And, I'm very lucky. I am married to the funniest, sweetest, most charming. I mean, he's all the things that you're describing. He's an amazing father.
So, did you catch the description of Prince Harry as the funniest, sweetest, most charming, and an amazing father? Yes, it is sweet, but it is suspiciously labored because if you notice the pause mid-sentence, clearly searching for another glowing adjective, it comes off to me as performative. From my point of view, of course, this is excessive effort at convincing us how happy she is. Often, ironically, does the opposite. It fuels more speculation rather than what she wants us to believe, that they're great. I don't think they're doing great because she's really going far and beyond to try to convince us, I love him, I love him, I love him, he's great, he's great, he's great. I don't think he's great. In my opinion, don't try too hard. If something is true, don't try too hard. If you can or cannot, don't try too hard. Just don't try too hard. So this right here to me seems that she's just trying too hard to make it true. Let's go on to the next one.
I always make it a point when I'm traveling, if I can't do bedtime stories with my kids, because Archie and Lily are just 3 and 5. So I'll always pack a really thin book and I'll videotape myself reading it. So whoever's with them or Papa can say, here's my...
Okay. So I know this has been all over the news and it cracked me up because during her anecdote about reading bedtime stories, Meghan slips by saying whoever is with them, quickly correcting herself to Papa. This tiny, insignificant slip-up is actually quite revealing because it's acknowledging the presence of staff or caregivers, something Meghan typically avoids mentioning publicly to maintain the facade of being normal. From my point of view, this is an accidental honesty. It's both amusing and problematic because it is highlighting how carefully curated her image is. It's as if a brief moment, Meghan forgot the polished narrative she usually sticks to, accidentally letting the reality behind the meticulously curated image slip through. These minor yet telling slip-ups emphasize broader transparency issues, leaving the audiences questioning how much of Meghan's carefully constructed persona is actually authentic versus her stage. I actually like that part because it was a lot more authentic than anything else that we've ever seen from her. And then we're going to go to the next scene, which is super vague, this one right here.
Find ways to show up for each other. And if that's the one thing that I can convey through the show or through as ever as a brand, I want people to know you can show up for each other because you know how good it is when someone shows up for you.
So this continues with her vague comment about showing up for each other through as ever brand or her show. Just adds confusion. Exactly how does a show or a brand show up for someone? Clarity isn't Meghan's strong suit, and this vague messaging further weakens her credibility. She continues to say a lot of word salad, and then she's not clear about what she's trying to convey with her show or her brand. It just goes back to, oh my goodness, how is her podcast going to be? Because she makes mistake after mistake after mistake, and when she talks, it's just word salad after word salad after word salad. I think we're almost done because we're not going to do the entire thing. We're going to do just a little bit more.
What are we making today? Okay, so thumbprint cookies. I love this because you can do it with your kids or friends. And so this is simple. It takes really a few amount of ingredients. And then you put your thumbprint in, which is what makes it a fun group activity. And
all right, so we finally arrived to the cooking segment where Meghan enthusiastically introduces the thumbnail cookies, an adorable sounding activity that quickly takes a questionable turn in my opinion, because the concept of multiple people, including children, and I'll show you. So this is what I mean by the concept of multiple people, including children, known for their impeccable hygiene, right? And then there's pets on the bottom. Where's the pet? I think there you go. There's a pet. You know, these cookies, it's all about embedding their thumbs directly into the cookie dough. It's kind of unsettling because, frankly, it's cringe-worthy from a sanitation point of view. Did anybody behind the scenes raise an eyebrow? Because this is an oversight that just isn't amusing. It's gross. Because we get to the problem where what if Lilibet or one of the children touched the dog and then went back to putting their thumbnail in the cookie? You know, those are things that we don't know. Or they did this and then they went back. Or they touched their hair, their face. Like, it's not a sanitary environment. And they're not even wearing gloves. That's the thing. That's the thing that gets me. Instead of them not even showing this background scene, because now all I'm thinking about, did anybody touch their nose? Did anybody touch their face? Did anybody touch the dog? Did people clean their hands? Did people wash their hands after they touch their face, after they touch the dog? You know, kids will put their little hands on everything. And you know, adults will sometimes go like this, and we forget that we go like this because it can be just an automatic thing that we do. And then back to doing the cookies with your thumb. Gross. But again, this is just my point of view. I feel like Meghan often prioritizes aesthetic appeal and surface level charm, neglecting essential details and practicality. If your carefully crafted image involves family-friendly baking, it's probably wise to ensure that it doesn't include potential health violations. Yet again, the optics of perfection overshadow basic common sense, highlighting a recurring theme in Meghan's approach: style over substance each and every time. All right, guys, so Meghan Markle's appearance on the Drew Barrymore Show could easily serve as what not to do when you get interviewed for your business or for your show or for whatever you're doing, because her attempts at being warm and authentic repeatedly stumble over contradictions and vague statements and strategic missteps. Authenticity and clarity remain elusive, leaving audiences more skeptical than ever. Did Meghan genuinely connect? I don't think so. I think this was another overly rehearsed performance. I would love to hear from you and your take, so drop your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.